Number 3 of our naughties tonight. Did you like that, Liz? You love a bit of Amy Winehouse.
I love Amy, yes, indeed. And what a tragic but short but brilliant life. Like one of those rockets that goes up and, there's loads of light and sound and everything, and then it's just gone. It's fizzled away. See, the Ulster Hall is the best place to see bands. If you get a chance when a band is coming up, it's the really best acoustic in Belfast. And I just remember, standing against the front wall, watching her on stage was just brilliant.
I'm going to now ask you to, well, I've already asked you, to be honest, Jerry's still with us as well, about your feet. You don't like feet, Jerry. You hate them. Why?
I just think feet are the most disgusting things ever.
Now, are you talking about feet in general or just yours?
No, just feet in general.
Feet in general. Well, here's the question. Can you really tell someone's health, maybe their personality, by the state of their big toe? Well, maybe just a bit more than just their big toe, the whole foot. And what does it reveal to the trained eye? Jerry Carlisle and Liz Kennedy are still with us. Now, I got you two to send me pictures of your feet. It's tricky to take pictures of your own feet, especially from the soles up. So did you have to get help?
It's also weird when you get a text saying, did you send the pictures of your feet?
Did you get help?
I did. I got my daughter to take it, and then she had to immediately delete them because she hated them so much.
Jerry?
Yeah, I got help, of course. It's even worse requesting someone to take a picture of me.
It is. It's a bit odd, to be honest.
But you somehow managed to do your own.
I managed to do my own. But we'll introduce our next guest who's on the line with us, Jane Sheehan. Jane, you are actually a foot reader. Is that the right phrase to describe what you do?
Yes, I read feet.
And where did that begin? Because it's a bit odd.
It sounds bonkers, doesn't it? No, when my friend Claudine fancied reflexology, and I didn't know what it was, so we both went along for a treatment for her birthday, and I was fascinated by what they told her about her health. When it was my go, I had a big emotional reaction to it, so I had to know more, so I studied reflexology. And at the end of the course, you do all your case studies. All my case studies had huge emotional reactions. And so I kept looking for that connection between the emotions and the feet. And that led me into foot reading.
And do they still react strangely when you explain what it is you do?
Oh, absolutely hilarious. I mean, if I go to a business network event, you should see the reactions that I get when they ask me. So,
you don't stop people, Jane, and say, get your feet out, let me have a look and see what kind of person you really are.
Well, I even look at the shoes and try and guess what their feet are going to look like. And if they start telling me things, I'm listening to their personality through their words, and I'm doing a photo fit in my head of what their feet will look like.
Well, I have sent you 3 sets of feet. Now, I didn't explain whose are who. Now, some of them are hairy, some of them are not. Some of them have painted nails. If you're watching on the Facebook site, right about now, you'll know exactly, because I'm going to start flashing them up there. I've not told you, Jane, whose feet belong to who.
You've given me 6 photographs in pairs.
Yes.
Top and bottom view, and you've labelled them A, B and C.
Which one would you like to start with?
Let's go with A.
Foot A, okay. What is foot A? What does it actually tell you about this person?
Right, this person is much more practical and down to earth than the other two. Spends a lot of time thinking and mulling things over, but very happy to talk about themselves, about their private life. There's no subject taboo with this person. And they don't worry as much as the others. If I'm comparing you to photograph B does the most worrying of the group of you. But on photograph A, the one we're mainly concentrating on, here's a few things that I'm seeing. Second and third toes are longer than they ought to be, so that means leadership quality and extra drive and determination that you can do twice as much as the next person, given the same time and resources. You'll hate delegating because they can't do half as much as you can do. And I'd say this person is sensitive but hides the fact through deflection. So if you hit a nerve with them, they'll change the subject or crack a joke rather than let on. And they have a tendency to look back and compare the past to the present, more so than any of the other photographs that you sent me.
A tendency to look back?
Yes, and compare the past to the present.
In a positive way, Jane, or maybe not so much?
Well, I wouldn't past judgment on whether that's good or bad because it looks neutral to me. It doesn't look positive or negative, just looks like it's just a habit. When it becomes a problem, then I start seeing colours show in the feet that indicate whether that there are things that maybe they want to address. And the colour is fine, so I'm not thinking an issue here.
Would you like to know whose feet they belong to?
I would guess they're yours.
They're not actually mine. They belong actually to Jerry.
Oh, right.
So Jerry, who's here tonight. Jerry, are you surprised to hear what you've heard so far?
No, I think Jane is...
You sound a bit sheepish already.
Sounds very accurate.
It's no mean feat.
Oh, Jerry, come on. What about, I think it's interesting what she said about you looking back and maybe comparing things in the past to present. Is that something you do a lot?
Yeah, I suppose I do. A bit of reflection. Don't think that does any harm. But I like that she got me to a tea that I don't like delegating things.
Yes, because you're a businessman,
yeah.
So you like to do things your way. Mm-hmm. And do you have a problem letting go and releasing control?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because it's important to be able to do the job yourself, and it's important to be able to, know that. I suppose I take a view that if I do it, I know it's done properly.
Okay, well, let's move on to the second set of feet. Which ones would you like to talk about, Jane? You've already mentioned foot B, but you can...
I'd like to go for foot B because there's one similarity I can see that foot A, Jerry's feet, and foot B have in common, and that's how they're motivated. They're both motivated by how they feel. If they feel like doing it, they'll move mountains. If they don't feel like doing it, hell and high water ain't going to make them do it.
What do you mean? Are you trying to say in a very polite way that they're very stubborn?
No, stubborn shows up on foot C, on the third toe. So when it comes to work and what they're doing, the photograph C will dig their heels in and be very strong-willed about what they're doing and how they're going to do it, more now than in the past. So stubborn shows up as a squareness in the tip of the toe, and photograph C shows that on the third toe, on the left foot only.
I'm not quite sure. Let's go back to foot B before we come to C. Clearly that's my foot. What else can you tell from foot B?
Foot B, this is interesting because the top of the view is what you want to show everyone. The bottom of the foot is what you keep to yourself. So on the top of the foot, it looks like they've got really long toes. And long toes means very expressive, talk for England, that sort of thing. But when you look underneath, you can't see the necks of the toes. So this shows something else going on. So whilst this person appears to be very chatty, there's an awful lot that they keep stum about and keep under the surface. So they'll appear chatty, but if you listen carefully, they're often not talking about very personal things. There's a lot that they won't discuss with you. They'll keep it on a more general level. This person is a very deep thinker. The toe pad on the big toe is absolutely massive. So, and
the what on the big toe, sorry?
The toe pad is massive, and also it's longer than you'd expect on an average foot. So this is a big ideas person, thinks outside the box. If you have a problem, you go to them. They'll come up with 10 solutions to your one. But if they've got their own problem, they've got so many ideas about how to fix it, they don't know which one to pick. So they work best bouncing the ideas off someone else so that they say, oh, pick number 3.
Well, before you go any further, Liz, they are your feet that we were talking about there. What do you have to say?
I think that's quite brilliant, Jane, when you say about actually that, you know, apparently I would be quite chatty, but I don't really like giving everything away. That is so accurate, and a lot of people don't get that. You know, that who know me, they don't get that, and that's. But I love, obviously, I love the big ideas thing, and that is my thing. That I am an ideas person, that I'm always having loads of ideas, but you know, which one is the one to go with? That's the difficulty. It's amazing that you can come up with that stuff, and I suppose it's quite flattering because when we hear nice things we think, oh yes, that's me, you know. But the deep thing, I like that very much. Thank you. You're
getting some mixed reaction, Jane, on our Facebook, if I'm honest. Some people are really loving it and some people just don't buy any of it. So what do you say to the naysayers?
To the naysayers, I'll say I'm okay with people knocking it, because before I took it up, I'd have been the same. I'd have thought, oh, get out of it. You're not telling me that you can read emotions through the feet. can. And so let me just give you some examples. If you're depressed, you will walk more forward on your feet, which changes the blood circulation. So I can see depression in the feet, and it will show as a much darker pads on the toes than the rest of the foot. So that is merely because of your posture when you're walking related to your emotions. So you can definitely see emotions just through the way you stand.
Okay, I can't put it off any longer. Let's talk about foot foot number C,
Okay.
which clearly is my feet. What do you take from them?
Okay, so foot number C, you've got quite a few things going on here. You have delayed reactions to things, so whatever we say to you, you need time to think it through before you'll give your reaction, because logic and emotion aren't working well together. They need that space and time to mull things over and get back to us later. You wear a mask so no one knows what's going on with you, more in the past than now, but still a little bit.
Say that again, sorry.
You wear a mask so no one knows what's going on with you, more in the past than now. It's showing more on the right foot than the left foot. You're prone to overthinking. You've had heartache. It's showing on the past foot but not the present. So what happens, you've moved on from that. It's like fresh start, new beginning. You don't want to dwell on it. You've dealt with it. And on your little toes, you're showing me that you're unconventional, rebellious, my way or the highway.
Well, you know what? The weird thing is, right, if I'm totally honest, Jane, a lot of that it does ring true to an extent. Earlier you mentioned that I might be slightly moody.
Yes.
And I have been known to be a bit of a huffer. Now, I don't really do it in work. I don't think I do, but sometimes I can't help myself but do it at home. I just get annoyed about something and I can't not show it. And you can see that in my feet.
Yes. Well, the thing is, the feet are very expressive. We're used to looking at the face. We're not used to looking at the feet.
That's because most people's feet are stinking.
I hope not, because that's got a reading as well.
What do you mean?
If your feet stink to high heaven, it says, I want freedom from restrictions. Leave me alone, back off. So it could be hormonal, it could be poor hygiene. Either way, I'd still read it that way.
So what should I, given what you've said about my feet, what should I do going forward, or should I, what should I maybe take any heed from what you've said, or should I just take it in and think, right, okay, that was interesting, Jane, let's move on?
Well, the great joy about foot reading is you're holding a mirror at someone so that they see themselves. It's not that I'm telling you anything you don't already know. It's that when you hear it out loud, you think, blimey, if she can see that, maybe it's time I do something about it. Or you think, yeah, that's pretty cool, I'm okay with that. Or if you've been working on something hoping to change, it also gives you that backup that, yeah, she can see it's changing, I'm on the right track, I'll keep going. So depending who's asking, they'll have a different reaction to what I'm saying.
I'm not sure what to do, what to take from that. I could talk to you all night, Jane.
I would say to you, don't give immediate reactions, sleep on it and go back tomorrow with your answers wherever you're able to do that.
Okay.
I would say to Jerry, if you can learn to delegate more, your life will be a lot easier, but it's not natural for you. So when you're recruiting, get them to send a photo of the feet and pick someone with an elongated third toe or extra wide feet, and then they'll be able to keep up with you. And I'd say for Liz, watch out for Liz, because one thing I didn't say is that she's a covert rebel. She does the window dressing to appear to fit in and do what's expected whilst breaking the rules behind the scene and getting away with it.
Brilliant. I love that, a covert rebel.
Do you agree with that, Liz? We're just a bit pushed for time now, but do you agree?
I think I'm quite an open sort of rebel, I think.
I think that doesn't surprise me. And Jane, you've never met Liz before, and Liz, you've never met Jane.
No, absolutely.
There we go. Jerry, do you agree with what you've heard? I think you do.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, fair play there.
Yeah. And next time, Jerry, if you don't mind washing your feet before you take a picture and send
it to you.
But he's got beautiful feet, so he was happy enough to do it all.
I don't know about that. It's really tricky to take a picture of your own feet. feet, the soles of your feet. I was in my house on Sunday, was it yesterday, taking them, and it had to set a timer. It's very bizarre, and thankfully nobody walked in. There was nobody in the house but me and the dogs, because that would look really weird. Jane, we have to leave it there, but thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm coming to Northern Ireland in April to Port Ballintrae. I'm going to be teaching foot reading, but I've also got some slots where I'm doing foot readings.
Oh my goodness, brilliant.
And how can people find out more? What's your website, Jane?
Go to footreading.com.
And you'll come on to the studio?
I could do. I'm not quite sure of my timing.
Well, let's check that. Let's check that.
Yeah.
We have to go, Jane. But listen, Jane, thank you so much. That's Jane Sheehan, a foot reader. Jerry, thank you very much for coming in. Liz, thank you very much for coming in as well.
Thanks
to Seamus. Thanks to Studio 8. And mainly, thank you for listening tonight. Podcast will be up in a couple of days. Eve is up next. Have a very good night. Bye-bye.
On 92 to 95 FM
and 1341 medium wave.
This is BBC Radio Ulster.
BBC News at 11 o'clock. I'm Anne-Marie Foster. Theresa May has said it's highly likely that Russia was responsible for poisoning the former